Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Seaquest for the Atari 2600. Pretty easy to figure out what to do here. Save the divers, shoot down the sharks while also avoiding running into them or being hit by them. And when you rescue 6 divers, you go all the way up to surface, and you get a ton of points and go on to the next wave. At the top is your current amount of lives and your current points. And at the bottom is your current oxygen level as well as the amount of divers that you have saved. The further into the game you go, the more bonus points you'll get at the end of a level. Now we're seeing the enemies come in twos. And there's also a sub at the surface who will take us out if it runs into us. Also, don't want to shoot towards the divers too much, because that can be bad. Also, we have subs popping up inside the water, and if they see us, they'll definitely shoot at us. If you can somehow get behind them and shoot them down, so much the better. And you don't want to shoot at the divers too much because that can happen. And I want to be very careful here because that submarine at the surface could have popped up at any moment. Yeah, you might as well go ahead and start mentioning some stuff. Obviously, you move around with the joystick and you fire with the fire button. That should come as no surprise as far as the controls are concerned. And your oxygen does count down as you spend time in the water. If you do get low on oxygen, you can surface, but that will cost you one of your divers. So you do want to be careful about that. And apparently clearing rows of submarines is what's going to get you a diver. And I actually got behind the surface sub on purpose, because that basically ensured that the sub wouldn't come at me while I was on the surface. Because if you're surfacing to get some air, wow, I finally died. If you're surfacing to get some air, you're stuck there until your air is back to full. You definitely want to keep that in mind. And I may have to go over here just to ensure that the sub doesn't come at me. The sub does get faster and faster as you play through the game. Keep that in mind. And that's not what I wanted to do, but, well, that kind of helped anyway. And let's get behind the sub, so that way it doesn't give us a bunch of trouble as we go for air. You get a life. Wow. You get a life every 10,000 points. And the more lives you get, the more fun this is going to be. And it's a good thing that I waited. I now have a full set of lives, and I can go after some more fish again. I can shoot down some more things. I also forgot to mention the game modes as well as the switch settings. There are 2 game modes. One is a 1-player mode. Yikes. While game mode 2 is 2 players alternating. If you set the switch, the difficulty switches for the players to, either of the players rather, to B or novice, you get faster continuous fire. And if you set it to A or expert, you get slower continuous fire. I say as I keep dying for no reason. To be fair, everything is getting a little faster now. But at least I'm getting bonus points. And yeah, you could definitely tell that the amount of points I'm getting for doing things is becoming a lot more numerous the further I go. Also, I really need to center myself with these sharks if I'm going to shoot at them, because I am making this terrible mistake over and over again. And it also doesn't help that I'm trying to talk and do this at the same time, too. But I'm getting the lives back almost as quickly as I'm getting them, which is really helping. At this rate, I have no idea how much longer the game that I'm doing right now is going to go. And I would have liked to have saved that diver, but well, that wasn't happening. And that's why you don't want to shoot towards the divers too much, because you will scare them and they will run away. However, you can get that to work in your favor if they're swimming away from you, because they'll actually swim towards you. They'll actually turn around. It won't matter which direction you're facing. As you shoot them too much, they will turn around and ouch. I lost a diver there. You do lose a diver when you die. Keep that in mind. And yeah, once you get far enough, you really, really rack up the points. You really, really rack up the points. How much further I'm gonna go with this? And I thought I'd be able to grab that guy, and I couldn't. Yikes. I got charged at right there. And I should have just stayed away from those sharks entirely. And I should have shot at that last one, and I couldn't do it. And this is where the Atari luck kicks in. I call it the Atari luck because as soon as you start doing bad, that's when your luck runs out. And I would like to get some more divers. I would like to get some more divers to show up and hopefully less deaths. But it doesn't look like I'm going to hit... Ooh. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to hit 100,000. Though I could have if I tried a little bit harder. That was a fun game. That was a very, very fun game. Let me see if I can find my notes. It's in the footstool in front of me. That's not it. That's not it. They're definitely here somewhere because I put them in here. I know for a fact that I did. There it is. And let's see what happens if I switch the... Yeah, there we go. Left difficulty is now at expert, or A. Let's see what happens when we have slower fire. This is interesting. And why did I do that? Let's start over again, because that was terrible. As you can see, the fire is a lot slower. And the bullets move with you regardless of what setting you're using. Which you can definitely use your advantage, especially if you're playing with the slower speed bullets like I am. And let's see here. And let's get back to the surface before we lose everything, I guess. And there's the surface sub. About to make our lives miserable. And you can really see what I'm doing here at this point. And ow, I did not want to die like that. That was terrible. I'm going to wait for the surface sub to show up again. And boom. There we go. That'll do it. That will indeed do it. And I might as well go ahead and do some silent running to ensure that I can get behind some subs and shoot them down. When it's time to surface again, it'll cost me a diver, but, well, it'll save me. I'm going to be spending more time in here and more time in levels altogether because of the slower speed of my bullets on expert compared to novice. Now, let's get over here, so in case the surface sub shows up, it won't give us a hard time. Also, everything seems to be moving a little slower because my bullets are moving slower. Kind of weird in that regard. And why am I running into the backs of sharks? That still kills you, Watercress. Stop doing it. And I had enough divers to save myself with. What was I even doing? Now they're getting a little faster. And I might as well go ahead and start shooting things down, as always. At this rate, I don't really know what else to say. And let's get behind where the sub was, so that way we can get ourselves a better place to go. And I couldn't even shoot anything down. I could not line myself up with anything in order to do anything. And I had to keep advancing just to shoot down all of those subs. And I'm about to say, I got too greedy there. I should have waited just a little more. There we go. Sadly, that's not going to get me enough for an extra life. I'm going to have to work for it. And I have no idea what I was thinking doing that. And I came so close to another extra life. But we have played this on Novice, and we have played this on Expert. And those are the two difficulties for the single-player mode. In action, with Seaquest for the Atari 600, programmed by Steve Cartwright for Activision, 1983. Fun little game this is. It's just too bad it came out when it came out, 1983, in the middle of the North American video game crash. I feel like this would be a more remembered game. A more remembered game. That's the best way to put it. Had this game come out earlier. Even then, Activision was still making some pretty fun games for the Atari 2600. The graphics, as you can see, they're pretty nice. You have that little gradient for the sunset on the top. You have the surface of the water and the at the top of the water below the sunset, which I've never really paid attention to until now. And it's quite nice to look at. They tried their best with it. Everything in the ocean, well, it's kind of simple. But then again, this is Atari 2600. Everything's easily identifiable, and that's a good thing. Activision knew how to work with what they had at that time, and they could seemingly do no wrong back in the first half of the 80s at least. Game control, the play control, gameplay was fun, very fast-paced. You were definitely, I was definitely always on the move and being ready to shoot something and hoping that desperately hoping that I was actually lined up with something that I could shoot it, and hoping that I could keep my oxygen high, not run into the surface sub, and hopefully keep my air high, get from one wave to the next, rack up all those points. And if I died, more than likely it felt like my fault. Most of the time. Though it can get fast, it can get furious the later you go in. And it still remains fun even then. And finally, the replay value. You may play this for a few minutes at most, and then pop something else in. You may play for even longer. It depends on how much you enjoy this game. Well, I've enjoyed this game. Not enough to play for like an hour maybe, but definitely enough to sink some time to it and just get better and better and better and see how much better I can become at this game. It's a nice game, Seaquest is. And should you get it? Absolutely. Definitely one to put into the Atari 2600 library. Definitely one worth giving a shot. And that has been Let's Play Seaquest for Atari 2600. Hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I did, maybe just a little bit more. And hopefully I'll be back with another game. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad, maybe it'll be somewhere in between, who knows. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, thanks for watching, and see you guys later!